Growing up comes with a lot of invisible rules. One of them is this, that if you rest, have hobbies, or only do a small workout, you should probably feel a little guilty. And it sounds reasonable because we're taught that productive people should always be doing more. So for years, I believed that too. But lately, I've been thinking about that idea, and letting go of that guilt has quietly changed the way I live. So, these are three things I'm learning to stop feeling guilty about, and maybe one of them belongs to you too. The first one is rest. I used to think resting meant I wasn't trying hard enough. But one day I realized even bread dough rests before it grows. Muscles don't become stronger while we're exercising. They become stronger while they're recovering. Even children sometimes need a pause before they can regulate overwhelming emotions. Maybe adults do too. This year, I got sick several times. For nearly 2 weeks, my body asked me to rest completely. And honestly, I was scared. I thought I'd lost all my strength, maybe even some of my skills. But when I finally came back, I was surprised. Most of it was still there. It had simply been healing. Now, whenever I only have 5 or 10 minutes, I don't always scroll on my phone anymore. Sometimes I take a short nap, sometimes I drink cold water, sometimes I wash my face, sometimes I hug something soft. Those tiny moments don't solve everything, for sure, but they often help me return to myself before returning to my work. The second one is hobbies. This might be the biggest one. I used to think hobbies were something children naturally had, but adults slowly outgrew, as if growing up meant becoming more serious. But adults' emotions are much more complicated than children's. We overthink, we compare, we carry responsibilities, we worry about the future. Maybe that's exactly why we still need hobbies. Sometimes people think hobbies are just entertainment, but I don't think that's all they are. When we're creating something, imagining something, moving, building things, drawing, playing, or even collecting things we love, our minds become a little quieter. It's almost like giving our emotions a language they didn't have before. Some people cry, some people journal, some people paint, some people garden, some people play music. And maybe some of us imagine movie scenes that don't exist. They're all different ways of helping our minds breathe a little. There's another reason I stopped feeling guilty about having hobbies. Sometimes they quietly remind us who we are. There's one lyric from a song named Go the Distance that has stayed with me for years. Check this out.
I'll be there someday. I can go the distance. I will find my way. If I can be strong, I know every mile will be worth my while. When I go the distance, I'll be right where I belong.
So, it reminded me that being different doesn't always mean being lost. Sometimes it simply means your path looks different from everyone else's. One of my hobbies is probably a little unusual. I still love dressing up. The only difference now is that I have a little partner, my daughter. Sometimes we pick a movie or a series, choose our favorite characters, and put together outfits that match them. Another hobby of mine is imagining scenes that don't even exist. I create little movie moments in my head with myself as one of the characters. Yeah, and yes, I imagine the expressions, the emotions, even the conversations. I used to do theater when I was in school, and I've always loved movies from all kinds of genres. So maybe those hobbies never really disappeared. They just found different ways to stay with me. On top of that, hobbies have taught me something unexpected. They make me respect differences. When you spend time around people who genuinely love something, whether it's music, plants, climbing, painting, or even collecting tiny figures, you realize people don't have to love the same things. They just have to love them without hurting other people or the world around them. Sometimes I even try other people's hobbies, not because I want to become good at them, but because every hobby teaches you to see the world through someone else's eyes. I also stopped feeling guilty about doing short workouts. For a long time, I thought progress only counted if I exercised long enough, hard enough. But our bodies don't really remember one perfect workout. They remember patterns. One short workout, another one next week, a walk, a few push-ups, some stretching, then maybe nothing at all because you're sick and somehow your body still remembers. That's one of the beautiful things about muscle memory. Progress isn't measured by one single day. It's measured over weeks, months, sometimes even years. So these days, I don't ask myself, did I do enough today? I ask, am I taking care of this body over time? Those are two very different questions. And surprisingly, the second one gives me much more peace. Maybe that's why I love functional movement, because it's never really about exercise. It's about making everyday life feel a little lighter, like opening a jar, carrying groceries, playing with my daughter, getting up from the floor, walking up a little farther, being present in my own body. Those little moments are actually the reason I move, not the other way around. These are just three of the things I'm learning to stop feeling guilty about. And every time I let go of one, I make a little room for a calmer, kinder version of myself. Maybe growing up isn't about having fewer struggles. Maybe it's about choosing which burdens we no longer need to carry. These were three of mine. In part 2, I want to share 3 more lessons that quietly changed the way I move through life. Learning to accept changing plans, learning to say no, and maybe the hardest one of all, learning to start again. I'll see you in the next episode of Slowly Femala. Bye!